What is going on YouTube? Hit back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to US dollar. We're also going to be spending a little bit of time kind of dissecting the current S&P 500 and how it relates to the rest of the market. We're also going to be looking at a few interesting key movements and patterns that have been forming on these altcoins, specifically in XRP and some of the other cryptos. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up as this does help support the YouTube algorithm. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial. This way, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can DM me over there. Otherwise, let's jump right into today's episode. Alright guys, so before we jump into today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Best Change. For those of you that don't know a little bit about Best Change, hopefully I can break it down for you and make it simple. As you guys know, there are a ton of different exchanges that we like to use, but some of them aren't necessarily the best in regards to the market. So basically what Best Change does is almost like a Wikipedia for all the different exchanges out there. So instead of just picking and choosing, exchanges that you've heard of, you can actually use Best Change to basically pick the best exchange that you want for the cheapest amount of fees or the most legitimate, exchange out there. So I did link Best Change in the description down below, but basically what I mean by this is, let's say you have let's do Ethereum, and you wanted to exchange Ethereum to Ripple. Well, what exchange actually supports an Ethereum to Ripple transfer? Because, we know that Coinbase Pro doesn't necessarily have this. Maybe DueDEX or Bityard doesn't necessarily have this. So what can we use? Maybe Binance has it, or maybe it doesn't. So basically right here, by looking up what we have in Ethereum and what we would like, which is Ripple, it actually sorts out all the different exchanges for you in regards to, the most legitimacy. You can also just look at the reviews here and basically get a general understanding of which, exchanges are the best. And it's as simple as clicking on it, showing you how quickly it takes and what you're actually receiving. You then click on the exchange. It'll pull open the website for the exchange, and it's literally that simple. So this opens all these different websites. It's extremely simple to use, very easy. So if you were interested in exchanging certain cryptos to other cryptocurrencies and couldn't necessarily have, or you don't have that exchange actually offered on the one that you currently use, you can actually use Best Change to help figure some of that stuff out. So once again, huge shout out for Best Change for sponsoring today's video. I highly recommend checking this out. I've actually used it in the past when I wanted to convert some cryptocurrency into, let's say, Monero. If you were to buy something online, things like that, and you just needed help figuring out what websites are the most legitimate and where can I actually make the exchange with the lowest fees, Best Change actually helps you do that. Otherwise, to move on into today's episode, so the past couple of days we've been watching XRP and some of the other cryptocurrencies, and XRP has actually been going crazy according to plan, so much so that we've been able to make quite a bit of profit off of this the past couple of days. So I do want to touch upon this XRP topic, but before I do that, I want to talk about the S&P 500, because personally I feel like this definitely has the biggest influence not only on XRP and cryptocurrency, the market as a whole, but on some other important, factors, including myself, that I've invested in. So if you guys have, maybe a retirement account, or you live in the US and, want to know what's going on with the economy, this is a good factor to kind of figure out what exactly is going on. So the past couple of days, as you guys know, maybe the week or so, we've been discussing that there has been a formation of a double top forming and has formed right now on the S&P 500, and it could affect the cryptocurrency space as well. So how do we break this down? What exactly are we looking at? So right now we're kind of teeter-tottering. We closed last week's candle as we started to form a new one today, and you can see the double top formation looks clear as day. Ultimately, the only thing we're really waiting on is the other, leg to form. You can see we're looking for this right here, which would correct the price lower down to probably the moving average, so on and so forth. But how do we know that this is going to cause a reversal? Well, we can look at the different dojis that form on the crypto, or on the the price itself. So you can see last week's doji formed right here. This is what people call a doji candle, and I did pull up the spinning top doji reference, and you can see how this looks very similar to what I'm going to show you in a second, and how this could ultimately, kind of play out pretty well for our our bettering ourselves, or basically how to figure out what is going to happen as we move forwards in the future. So basically the spinning top candlestick right here is a spinning top that has a short and real body that's vertically centered between long upper and lower shadows, or wicks, however you'd like to call that. So you can see that the body on this candle is very small, but it wicks up very high. So you can see right here, it's a very small body with a high shadow and a lower shadow, above and below it. So how does that affect anything? Basically, the candlestick pattern represents indecision in the market, future direction of the asset. Neither the buyers nor the sellers, the bulls or the bears, could gain the upper hand. The buyers pushed the price up during the period, and then the sellers pushed the price down during the period. But ultimately, the closing price ended up very close to the open. So after a strong price advance or decline, spinning top candles usually signal potential price reversal, and that's the important thing that I want to talk about. So obviously, you can go on Investopedia and look for yourself in regards to what it is that I'm referring to. But you can see pulled up right here, the spinning top formation. It looks very similar, where we have big upper and lower shadows where the bulls and the bears are fighting, and the opening position is pretty much where the price closed to, ultimately signaling a reversal in price. Happen again, and we continue to stumble lower. So how does this affect our market? What does this have for us? What do we expect to happen? So my assumption and my analysis on this market is if we see the S&P 500 see a big dump in price, it is the S&P 500. This is the economy. If the economy tanks, it is most definitely going to influence and trigger the rest of cryptocurrency to follow suit. But, this is very similar to what I mentioned in February and March. I've talked about this multiple times on the channel. Definitely make sure to watch, some of the other videos if you're interested. But this would ultimately influence a correction in price, and that would influence the other cryptos to do the same. In the interim, we've been watching on the daily charts of XRP what exactly is happening. So just a couple of days ago, ultimately this is about a 6-day week that we've been following in candles. You can see right here where we hit this top resistance and then corrected down to the downside. We knew the second we hit this top resistance, we are going to see a correction. That's exactly what happened. We capitalized off of this on Bityard. Hopefully you guys took advantage of this. If not, make sure to watch these videos. I did link Bityard in the description down below. But you can see the resistances here, and ultimately every time we hit this resistance, we corrected lower. The same pattern happened right now. We hit this top resistance and corrected lower. Now we hit a bottom, and we ultimately figured that because we broke through not only moving averages, but hit this bottom support, it would ultimately influence a reversal to the upside, which is exactly what happened. We hit a bottom where there's clear supports on the coin right here, and then 3 points of contact right here, 1, 2, 3, and now we're reversing upwards. You can see we're signaling a movement to the upside, starting from 23 cents. We're now almost at 25 cents, so about a 2-cent jump, which if you leverage traded that would make quite a bit of profit. We've done this multiple times on Bityard. Obviously, if you don't know what Bityard is, I highly recommend checking it out. I did link it in the description, and you can see it's a very similar pattern forming here. Let me pull up the XRP chart right there. Boom, and now you can see where I have drawn the uptrend is just like this. And then where I've drawn the downtrend resistance, just like this. So clearly now you guys get a pretty general indication of what exactly is forming. It's a smaller daily symmetrical triangle that has taken place quite some time now. I can give you the date range for when this started compared to how much time is probably due. We've been 108 days now. That's quite a bit. That's over 3 months of trading. And I do believe we probably hit a 4th month. So maybe a 4-month symmetrical triangle forming on this coin before we see some sort of change in direction. Usually it's popped to the upside, but we have to spend quite a bit of time analyzing this, because if the S&P 500 drops in the next couple of weeks, that's pretty much going to cause XRP to drop the same time. And we can still capitalize off this. We can use Bityard and just short the market and capitalize off the runs as we've done in the past. I think I made over $200 in literally 3 or 4 hours trading the XRP, just creating a short and capitalizing off this small aggressive run to the downside. So definitely make sure to check it out. As for the other cryptos, just teeter-tottering on this. We broke bullish with Bitcoin. We're trading sideways within a kind of a sideways channel right now, but it's really not showing anything I would be too involved in, because it's kind of hard to read. Litecoin, on the other hand, is showing what could be a reversal to the downside as we trigger what could be this resistance bar right here, a reversal. Same thing goes with Ethereum, pretty much just consolidating. I mean, we could draw the same trend line right here, just referencing the sideways consolidation that the market is having in between here. But ultimately, that's pretty much going to wrap up today's video, guys. Once again, huge shout out to Best Change for sponsoring today's video. Definitely make sure to check them out, link in the description. And make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.